As political parades go, it was a little unusual. Harvey Milk on his way to City Hall to be sworn in as a supervisor in San Francisco. There was a celebration on the steps of City Hall when he arrived. The mayor was on the steps of City Hall to meet Harvey Milk.
It is well known that I'm a gay person, and in this state, there is a law that says gay people cannot be married, but there is no law that says two human beings cannot love one another.
Milk owns and operates a camera store. Before that, he'd been a well-paid securities analyst specializing in international finance on Wall Street and in San Francisco. His opposition to the Vietnam War ended his career in high finance and led to another change.
The day Nixon invaded Cambodia was the day I had to speak out against war profiteers, large corporations, and so forth. And so I got rid of my Wall Street career, which was in Montgomery Street here. And when I walked through that door, I kept walking and announced to the world that I was gay. And it was like taking a huge burden off my back. I no longer had to live a double standard, double life.
To win, Milk had to get other support. He did. From the elderly, from environmentalists, labor. The firefighters union went door to door campaigning for him. And he picked up a lot of minority support.
If I'm fighting for the rights of gay people, and I am, then I must fight for the rights of all people. You know, all the minorities, the senior citizens, the handicapped, the disenfranchised people, or I'm a hypocrite. And I'm a little bit too old to get him to become a hypocrite.
He continues to try to prove that he's not just a representative of the gay community.
Here's Harvey. This is Thursday Night Live. In case you're wondering...
He goes into the neighborhoods of his district asking for opinions on the issues every night. He takes one night off every 2 weeks. All this for a salary of $9,500 a year. At 9 in the morning, he's on the bus heading for City Hall. He wants to improve the transportation system and get rid of cars in the downtown area. So he says if he didn't ride the bus, he'd be a phony. Harvey Milk says City Hall seems to have survived the election of the first gay official and that no earthquake has yet knocked it down. But it's obvious Milk intends to shake it up a bit. He made that clear in his first words on the job, back on that day when he was sworn into office.
I will fight to represent my constituents. I will fight to represent the city and county of San Francisco. I will fight to give those people who had once walked away hope so that those people will walk back in. Thank you very much.
Our guest this evening, George Moscone, is mayor of the city and county of San Francisco. He's a former member of the Board of Supervisors, a former state senator, and has been mayor since 1975. Or he was elected in 1975. He's been mayor since January 1976. We've talked about the giants. Excuse me. We've talked about development. Are those the biggest issues facing the city today?
Oh, no.
What are?
Well, the biggest issues are the ability of the city, through its taxpayers, to finance the kind of services that those very same taxpayers insist continue, but at a cost that they can afford. And when you put on top of that the very substantial probability, if you will, at least possibility, of a Jarvis-Gann measure that could, in effect, change totally the direction of San Francisco and all other urban environments, then I think you have to say that money, along with crime, which is the basic inherent need of people to have a sense of personal security, rate the number 1 and 2 positions, whichever way you want to talk about them, and then the question of development. And baseball and recreation, unfortunately or fortunately, go way down the line.
What does Jarvis-Gann mean to San Francisco?
It means the loss of approximately $250 million in ad valorem taxes, together with a substantial loss of revenue-sharing funds, federal funds, which are dependent, at least in part, on the amount of local taxes that you raise, and so that the lower the amount of taxes you raise at the ad valorem level, the lower contribution from the federal government. It means a substantial loss of CETA funds because they are, those monies are for giving people jobs that are on top of jobs you already will fund at the local tax level. And to be terribly honest with you, Jerry, and I know everybody's going to say this is a scare tactic, with the amount of money that will be left available to San Francisco if Proposition 13 passes, the fact will be that libraries and schools and recreation and park and health facilities will either be non-existent in the absence of some different contributions from the federal and state government, which I don't see forthcoming, or they're going to be substantially crippled, and our ability to provide services is not going to be anything but a matter of history.
Do you plan to campaign vigorously against 13?
Well, I think I must. I have every chance I can. I think I've got to take to the road, if that's necessary, in order to try to convince the people that we need relief, but this is not the answer.
Do you intend to run for re-election?
Well, Jerry, let me just say, I don't want to lose my rights to appear on television. So I can just tell you this. It's the grandest moment of my life to be the mayor of this city. They only give you 2 shots at it, and I'd be very surprised if I didn't take advantage of that.
Do you rule out the possibility of running again for statewide office, as you did
Yes.
briefly?
Yes, I do.
4 years ago.
Yes, I do. I know it's never prudent to rule out any possibilities. All I know is this, that I've been able to keep my head together and my physical well-being together in this very demanding job, because I know that this is literally the end of my political line, and that makes a very important difference in the way in which you conduct yourself. You worry about the city of San Francisco and not how you might reflect outward in Los Angeles and San Diego, where all the votes are. And I've come to grips with that. It's been good for me. It's been good for my family to know that. And even the doubting Thomases are starting to wonder if I indeed am not telling the truth.
Somewheres in Des Moines or San Antonio, there's a young gay person who all of a sudden realizes that she or he is gay, knows that if the parents find out, they'll be tossed out of the house. The classmates would taunt the child, and the Anita Bryans and John Briggs are doing their bit on TV, and that child had several options: staying in a closet, suicide, and then one day that child might open a paper and it says homosexual elected in San Francisco, and there are 2 new options. The option is to go to California, stay in San Antonio and fight. 2 days after I was elected, I got a phone call, and the voice was quite young. It was from Altoona, Pennsylvania, and the person said, "Thanks. And you've got to elect gay people so that that young child and the thousands upon thousands like that child know that there's hope for a better world. There's hope for a better tomorrow. Without hope, not only gays, but those blacks and the Asians and the disabled, and the seniors, the us's. Without hope, the us's give up. I know that you cannot live on hope alone, but without it, life is not worth living. And you've got to give them hope. Thank you very much.
My name is Harvey Milk, and I'm here to recruit you. I'm tired of listening to the Anita Bryans twist the language of the Bible to fit their own distorted outlook. But I'm even more tired of the religious leaders of this nation who know it and remain silent. I'm tired of their silence. And I'm tired of the John Briggs talking and lying about false role models. He's lying in his teeth and he knows it. Anita Bryant and John Briggs' unwillingness, their unwillingness to talk about heterosexual violence, their unwillingness to look into their own house. For if the John Briggses win, they will not stop. They are mad, and the Hitler types must continue to prove that they were right. They don't stop. You must remember that gay doctors, any gay person who has any kind of license is in danger, and the Holocaust will begin. Gay people all across the state. The Briggs can only be defeated if each and every one of you comes out to everyone you know. You must. And finally, join me in this message. Jimmy Carter, listen to us. You want to leave You want to be the world's leader in human rights? Well, damn it, lead! There are 15 million lesbians and gay men waiting to hear your voice. We are coming out of the closet. When are you going to come out of yours?
I think a lot of people are going to realize they have to make an ultimate decision. The decision is to go back in their closet real good, slam the door tight, which some will do, or burst down those closet doors once and for all and stand up and start to fight in any which way they can, organize, get involved.
Milk's influence was incredible. He convinced a generation of homosexuals to come out of the closet and to act together in their own interests.
He helped me to come to terms with my own homosexuality and the possibility that as a gay person I might have some power, that I might have some impact on this world.
But on November 27, 1978, Harvey Milk was cut down by former Supervisor Dan White, the same assassin who murdered Mayor George Moscone. Public mourning was deep. Outrage was intense. When White was convicted of voluntary manslaughter rather than murder, gays marched to City Hall and clashed with police in one of the city's most dramatic, violent, and memorable riots. It was a turning point for San Francisco's gay community.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged, oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside you makes you feel so small.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You could be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. But I wonder what could happen. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid.